One of the news that made me happy in recent days was the news that Saudi Arabia broke a new record in the issue of ear cochlear implantation for a large number of children. A medical team from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was able to implant 66 ear cochlea in 20 hours for a number of children with hearing damage, breaking the previous record and the previous record. It's very nice that the same team also had 42 shells implanted in 14 hours. First, what is the meaning of Jordan cochlear implant as a symbol? Jordan det is a delicate cochlear-shaped organ found in the inner ear. The ear, which is an external section, a middle section, and an internal section. This internal section has something inside it that works like a snail's sound. They call it the ear sound. This part is responsible for hearing. It connects it with sound waves and then transmits them to the auditory nerve, and from the auditory nerve to the brain, in order to understand the nature of the voice that is delayed in some children. They have a problem with this in this cochlea, or it is healthy and damaged as a result of a disease causing early hearing loss, and of course it can also occur in adults. Cochlear implantation does not mean that I remove the entire cochlear, removing the cochlear itself, but we work like a specific device with the function of the cochlear. This device is an external part that is installed behind the ear, and this external part is connected to a second internal part that is implanted under the scalp. This outer part collects sounds from the outside, and the part under the scalp works as a receiver, and after that a wire is extended from it. This wire has electric electrodes inside it to the place of the cochlea, which makes the sound reach the auditory filaments in the cochlea, and from there to the auditory nerve and then to the brain. It works, meaning very great results. It delivers the sound. No, the sound is no longer perfect like the sound that is delivered to a normal person. But in the end, it is a voice, and he can understand words, and thus he can learn. Natural learning. The precise process takes about 2 to 4 hours, and few companies in the world are engaged in this industry. The Cochlear, or let's say 6 companies, 4 American companies, 1 Danish and 1 Chinese. This is all that this topic has worked on due to its accuracy and uncommon nature. It's in the world in a big way. Truth topic is a great topic from more than time. News topic broke this record twice in a row, meaning something amazing and delightful truth. More than one face. The first side is that this is a skill aspect. We must draw attention to it. This means skill from the medical team that he is able to implant this number. Of course, he is not a surgeon for a single unit. I mean, a team of surgeons that implants this number. In this limited time, this is of course a good and beautiful thing, especially when we know that the topic is not widespread strongly around the world, meaning in the month of July 22. Approximately 1,000,000 have been cultivated in the world and reached 1,000,000 in. In July 2022, these implants are being implanted from approximately the 50s or 60s, meaning in a very long period for them to be able to implant this limited number. Compared to the number of people in the world, especially the number of people with hearing loss in the world is very, very, very numbers that can be amazing in some studies. Petroleum, 6% of the Earth's population has hearing damage, and this is a very high number. This remains the first phase, a beautiful phase, a skillful phase, superior to the second phase. The truth is a very wonderful phase. It is the humanitarian and charitable phase in Saudi Arabia. This issue is very, very important because all these operations were carried out for free. There is Project A, affiliated with the King Salman Center for Relief and Humanitarian Action in Saudi Arabia, working on a project called the Saudi Hearers Project. This project offers free hearing aid services to people with hearing disabilities. For free, they spend on the cochlear implant, on the teams working on this issue, even on travel and hosting the people who perform the operations and their families. And it is possible for a period of time. In fact, the spending on it is large. the cochlear implant, all these numbers that we said. All of the farming operations are free, and this is one of the beautiful charitable works that we appreciate those who implemented it. The third thing that is very beautiful and striking is that this program provides its services without considering the issue of nationalism. It does not serve Saudi children, it serves the children everywhere. The first record they achieved, which is 42 cochlear implants in 14 hours, they did in the city of Rihanya in Turkey. Syrian and Turkish children who only have a hearing impairment took advantage of the events that occurred after the earthquake. For many operations in more than one field, including this hearing issue, they implanted these. This number is in children in need. In Turkey, most of them were Syrians, and the new record of 66 shells in 20 hours, also set in Syria, is now close to 5 to 12 February. 2025 also means in one of these days. They were able to implant the number, and of course they completed the implantation on the other days. Also noting that this team conducted a number of cochlear implants for a number of Palestinian children, specifically Gaza children, and they implanted them in Jordan and hosted the injured and their families for a period of 3 months. I did these operations, and also unique before that, distributed earphones of a different nature. The cochlear, the external hearing aid, the cochlear remains an internal implant, so they distributed very many earphones in Yemen. I can die in Eden, and this of course means everything that I said. This is a living application of what the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, said. Like the believers in their affection, compassion and sympathy, like the body. If a member complains about it, the rest of the body collapses to it due to staying up late and having a fever. The last thing I say is that it is very wonderful. This work is provided to serve the sense of hearing specifically. Because hearing is, yes, the senses, because it is by hearing. This brings knowledge to the inside of man, and therefore guidance to the inside of man. It is the basic means of perception. Of course, this is a very beautiful thing. That is why our Lord, glory be to him, in the Holy Quran always prioritized hearing over sight, with the great value of the blessing of sight, but always prioritized al-samars, as he said, by God, I brought you out of the wombs of your mothers, you do not know anything, and gave you hearing, sight and hearts, so that you may be grateful. This is repeated in the Holy Quran. You will not violate this rule except once, when sight was mentioned before hearing, and it was mentioned against criminals on the day of resurrection when they said, if only you could see, then the criminals would be defeated. Their heads are with their Lord. Our Lord has seen and heard us. This is what criminals say on the day of resurrection. Our Lord saw us and we heard before sight, because at this moment they saw what they were hearing before, and they did not believe it, so they presented the base. As for the Holy Quran in general, hearing is always given precedence over sight. So this means, it means a very great blessing. This team is the number breaker in such a great blessing that it delivers to a number of deaf people. In the world, the real woman does not imagine the size of the reward. What this team obtains, and who supports this team financially or logistically or in any way, oh, how do they deliver this? This means to these children, the children have everything they will do in the future as a result of the knowledge they learned after the information reaches them. When their sense of hearing improves, it will be in the balance of these and everyone else. He brought these children from the sciences that remained to their children then when they grew up, to their students and to their families. It's a blessing whose value cannot be estimated, and we ask God to reward them with goodness, make them happy as they pleased us, and be an example for others. May goodness prevail in all Muslim countries. May God's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you.